Today is Thursday, March 28th. And with that being said, guys, today was the first trade of the small account challenge. First trade. Today was the day I was waiting for. It was the day that I wanted to, see the hot volume, see the activity, and I was really expecting a lot of volume to move in today. And, we were right on with that. With that being said, I was able to make how much today? Not really anything too crazy. I made $70. Now, while I am happy, I am in on the green side. As I said, I was a little frustrated today because I could have made so much more. And I had a couple, really good entries I wanted. And I missed one, but I got a bounce play. So you guys could see right here, I did get in. You can see the account number up here as well. I did get in on PLAG at the price of $4.97. $4.96, and then I got out at $5.06, and that was only, again, a 10-cent move. With that being said, I made $70 because I had 700 shares. So I got in at $5.06. Where is this bad boy at right now? $6.62. I could have been making, over $1,000 today if I held on to this trade, which would have been awesome. First trade over $1,000. That would have been great. What I was looking for even before that, as we talked about many times, was I was actually looking for a 460 entry. I was looking for a 460 entry, and I was looking to buy 800 shares right here. So let's talk about how I even saw that 460 entry. Let's take it back from scratch. Why is PLAG running, and why is CLWT running? So let's talk about these plays. First things first, we got to go back to our morning newsletter. Our morning newsletter, we send it out to you guys every single day. And what do you guys see right here? Progress in all areas under discussion in U.S.-China trade talks have been made. So we are seeing progress in our U.S.-China trade talks. This came out this morning on CNBC.com, and this has been a very big thing lately, right? Trying to make a deal with China, ending this, trade war that we have with China. And when we see progress with China, what are people immediately going to do? They're immediately going to run over to the lowest float Chinese stocks that they can find. And what do we see right here? CLWT. CLWT was the best play this morning in pre-market. And we also saw, PLAG make some nice rips and runs in pre-market as well. So if we go back to a time frame right here, let's just go to 5 minutes. We could see CLWT went from $3 and it was ripping all the way up to $8. If we want to look at PLAG, this one took a little bit more time, but this one went from around this $4 mark, dropped all the way back down towards around $4, and then actually ran all the way up to $5.80, then all the way up towards $7.18, and now it's having a little bit of a pullback right now. But it wasn't anything hard to find. Sometimes people are like, oh, how do you find these plays? You just got to be up and look at your pre-market scanners, and we can immediately find them just like that. Now, with that being said, why was I leaning a little bit more towards PLAG rather than looking towards CLWT? Well, CLWT was opening up already like 120%. The stock gapped up from 320 all the way up towards 775. So this play, as we know, guys, this already had a massive almost $4.50 spike towards it, right? So this already had the big time climb. So I wanted to find something that maybe wasn't as overbought already, something that wasn't as I already didn't go on such a big percentage rip, right? I wanted to be smart with what I was doing. So with that being said, I started leaning a little bit more towards PLAG. A very easy thing that you guys can do as well is just go to www.finviz.com. You can just click screener up here, go to price underneath $10, go to country, go to China, go to ownership, and that's going to give you the float tab. You click float, and you could see, like, as we go through here, like PLAG, Chinese plays float. PLAG is right here. This is a 1 million in float stock. We know this is going to be a potential very nice ripper. So right when we saw this in pre-market, we knew, okay, Chinese play underneath $10, low float stock. There are some other low float stocks that didn't get as much hype today, but notice a lot of these plays are green. Look at JMU, green. DXF, green. This one, BIMI, doesn't really have any sort of volume. CCIH, a little bit of green. KBSF, a little bit of green. OSN, a little bit of green. Like, so all the daily charts right here, PLAG, big green. FFHL, good green. JP, not really too much, but a little bit of green. SEED. So, as you guys could see here, a lot of these low float plays are moving from what? just because of China trade talks, right? So this is just an easy way for you guys to be able to tell, what stocks you may want to be interested in. And that's just because of the low float China stocks. So immediately, PLAG is the one we want to watch, right? PLAG is one we want to focus on. And we even took a chat vote. We took a chat vote and said what stock was going to be the best today. You guys voted number 1 CLWT, and you guys voted number 2 PLAG, which you guys are spot on out of all the other plays. Now, why did I pick PLAG as the stock I wanted to look at for the 460 break? This stock did have a gap up. It was a low float play. There's eyes towards it. As I said, it wasn't as high up as CLWT, and I definitely thought a lot of hype was going to move over to PLAG. So why did I want to buy the stock at the break of 460? Well, we could see there was a little bit of a high at a 460 mark right here. It wasn't, the pre-market high all the way up towards like 543. So I just wanted to show you pre-market there for a second. But if we look back right here at PLAG, we can see immediately this stock spikes, it hits 460, hits 460, hits 460, it falls. Right here, I can go ahead and say, okay, 460 is a tough area. It comes back down, starts spiking back up. What does it hit? 460. It comes back down, forms a little handle. What does it hit? 460. And then it breaks through it. Look at the buying volume we get at the break of resistance. This would be a little bit of what pattern? What pattern would this be right here, guys? A cup and a handle pattern, right? We like to always look for like our U-shaped patterns. But this is kind of like a little hybrid of the cup and handle pattern. So if we want to look at the cup and handle right here, just typing on Google, what do we have? We have the spike, the U-shape, a little handle, nice big breakout, right? So a nice big spike right here, this little cup that formed, the U-shape, the little handle, then you have a nice big breakout. Nice little breakout right here, nice little U-shape, the stock has a pullback, and then we get a nice big breakout. So what we have here is what? We got this U-shaped pattern formed. You see that little dip right here? That's the handle. And then what happens? Big buying volume moves on in. So the break of 460 is what I wanted. And I did have 800 shares typed out for a market order at 460. By the time, again, I was about to press buy on this, it was up to 475, 480. And then I wanted up towards $5. $5 is going to be my sell target. You could see, came right up to $5, came back down for a moment towards 470, blasted off through $5, ran all the way up towards around 575. So this is where, right away I'm starting to get a little emotional. I am, right? I'm saying to myself, wow, this would have been my first trade on my small account challenge, 800 shares, even from 460 to $5, that would have been a nice profit, right? That could have been, a nice couple $100 just like that. If I held through $5, I could have made, a lot, right? I could have made all the way up towards around $800, more than that, maybe 1,000. So I said to myself, all right, take a breath, figure out what's the next area I can bounce at. What's the next area I can get in on the stock at? Well, I do know a couple things. I do know, looking at this play right now, we are going to be having pre-market high. I see that the stock is currently right here. So where can I get in on the bounce play at? I know that we have pre-market highs all the way up at 540, but that upper shadow is not going to hold up, the whole entire time. So I can drag this down, and I can look at these areas, right, where this has this little hump right here, right, and then we have a lot of consolidation. So I'm thinking 510. But then I'd say to myself, if it goes down to 510, it's probably just going to go down to $5. $5 is a whole number. The stock basically went from, again, this 440 mark all the way up towards around 575. If we have, a nice little pullback, especially, $5, third strongest resistance line, this is going to be, a very nice support line. I'm probably just going to wait towards around the $5 mark. So I didn't buy at 520. I didn't buy at 510. I didn't buy at 515. I waited till what? Until it came down right at $5. Now, why did I buy right below $5, right? Why did I buy right here? This is where I got in, right? This is where I got in. I can turn off pre-market at this point as well. Why did I get in right here at this 496 mark? Why did I want a little bit lower than $5? Because usually when you come down to $5, it's going to go underneath it for a second as people get really scared that it's going to crash, and then it usually pops right back on up. So what we had right here is PLAG. PLAG, the moment I saw the stock, start cracking, I'm like, all right, let me put it like 4 or 5 cents right underneath $5 so I can get filled at least, and then it'll probably pop back on up. And it popped right back on up towards 506, right? It popped up to 506, and then we try to run where up to. It got all the way back up to 520, and this is within like the same time period, right? Because I only held this stock for about a minute. So it went from $5 ran up towards, again, 518. I wanted 520 as my sell target. My sell target was 520. That's what I ultimately wanted, and that would have been about a $200 profit. What started happening, though? We had a 6,000 share order, which I really enjoyed because I was expecting that to, pop up to play. The 6,000 share order on the level 2 all of a sudden got taken out. I saw it turning. I had to get out right away. And what happened? The stock started falling all the way back down to 475. So I saw the stock start turning. I wanted to get out. Obviously, I didn't want to, hold a play that if I thought personally may start getting a little bit weaker. And that's when I only made a total of 10 cents from 497, 496 to 506, right? So that's why I was able to make a $70 profit. Now, I wanted 460. I wanted the bounce play for this to get up to 520 and maybe even plus that, but it came back down to 475 before running all the way back up to 550, before running all the way up and doing this big time breakout. So while I did make my 10 cents, while I did go green, it was a little frustrating that I missed out on my 460, that I was a little too early to the bounce play, and I missed out on this big, $2 rip right here. But again, I'm happy with many different things. Happy I made money. I'm happy I didn't chase. I'm happy I picked the correct stock. I'm happy that I bought just right next to the bottom. I had a little bit left towards it, but right next to the bottom for the big time rip and run. So there's a lot of good things I could take away from this to pat myself on the back, and I want you guys to do that as well. PLAG, continue to move on up, move on up, move on up, move on up. Now, what are all the areas that I guess we could look at for PLAG? Where's all the predictability on PLAG? Well, if we want to look at all the predictability on PLAG, first things we can look at is what? We have our top high right here, right around 475, right? That upper shadow. Maybe a little difficult to see right here. Right, it's right there, that little dot, because that's where it spiked right at the start of the day, right in the morning. Okay? So if we look at that and put this line, we put this line right at 475. What does that lead to? Right next to this bounce play. Old high of the day led to the new support line. With that being said, we bounced off the support line. The stock started spiking on up. You could see basically like a big time U-shaped pattern, right? So we had our U-shaped pattern. Put a line right here. What do we see? Nice U-shaped break of resistance. Big volume comes on through. Then we start ripping and running right here. We get a little pop, little drop, little pop, little drop, little pop, then drops on down. What pattern would this be? This pattern right here, wouldn't this be considered a head and shoulders pattern, right? Where we have our shoulder, we have our head, and we have another little shoulder. And the stock drops on off right there, right? So we have head, shoulder, and that's where the stock starts dropping on off. But notice, where does the stock bounce at? Right next to, now I'm not going to say the exact mark, but right next to the high of the day right here. And this is right next to that bounce play. So it came right next to that bounce play. And that's when the stock started moving on up. And if you guys do not know head and shoulders patterns, what do we see? It's basically, exactly how it sounds. We have our left shoulder, our head, our right shoulder, and then the stock drops on off. So as you guys could see, that's what happened right here. Shoulder, head, shoulder, drop on off. I'll get rid of this for a second. See, shoulder, head, shoulder, and then the stock, starts dropping on off. All right? So, yep, so shoulder, head, shoulder, drop on off. All right. Then what starts happening? Stock starts moving back its way back on up, and we eventually, break this high of the day, as you guys can see right here. Let's just go across with this line. And we could see we get our high of the day marks, right around this like 725-ish mark, 725-ish area. And we have our little bit of a double top. Notice, the support level is kind of with all this consolidation, currently at this mark. And then it starts dropping underneath. We do have, if we want to extend this all the way out, like this trend line, where we did get another bounce play right here as well. So we did get another bounce play, right at this area where it hit the trend line and started spiking up and over. Now, with that being said, we are currently where? We are currently on the bearish side, right? We are currently on the bearish side of this trend line. So this trend line right here starts going to the red side right here, where we are currently sitting at. So if we're looking at this play, where are we going to be looking at? We're looking for a channel to form. So we're looking for a channel to form where we could see old bounce right here at 615. We could see bounce right here at 615. Bounce right here right around 615. And then we're going to have our top channel most likely right around this area. Probably right around $6. I mean, it is $7 as the main one, but you kind of want to break above 675 first. So you're going to probably stay inside this channel probably until about lunch hours. You're probably going to stay somewhat inside this channel between until about lunch hours, and then right around 12 o'clock could be its next rip. But most likely what this is going to do is move sideways for the next few minutes. So again, so not a few minutes, I would say probably for the next hour or so. So most likely, this is going to be moving sideways for the next hour or so. And I'm just trying to get like you're going to see something like this. We're looking for basically a channel to form. But, channels sometimes last, an hour, 2 hours, maybe 3 hours before, again, they get the breakout, because they're going to consolidate sideways for a while, let everyone, kind of cool it down a little bit. And then, right before lunch hours, about an hour from now, is when it could go on a nice breakout and go on its next leg on up. So PLAG, there's a lot of good opportunity here. There's a lot of good opportunity here. And if you nailed it, if you pulled the trigger at our first 460 break, and you even held to 570, 575, that's $1.10 in profit. 500 shares, you're making around $650 right there, right? 800 shares, 1,000 shares, you're making over $1,000, right? And that's from a small account. So awesome work. So again, there was a lot of predictability on CLWT. CLWT, as we could tell, we can also look at its past chart history pattern, and we can see what's the ultimate sell target today. The ultimate sell target today would be all the way up towards around this 875 mark, or right around that $7.85, $8 mark. And these are from past chart history spikes. So these are from spikes that have happened in the past. What PLAG also likes to do a lot of times is what? It's kind of spike, and then the next day spike again. So PLAG could be a consistent double spiker. This could possibly spike tomorrow. But right now, PLAG, what we're looking at is I put the stock inside of a channel between right around the $6 mark. Let's see if it can hold $6. I'd say the $6 mark right here, and all the way up towards around the 675-ish area. Right? So I'd just basically say this is your channel. This needs to hold inside this channel for the next hour. If it can hold inside this channel, well, then what's going to happen? I would say, watch for a lunch hour breakout. But right now, the channel has it. If you are interested for a bounce play, right now would probably be right around the best bounce play areas, right around $6, because that's where, again, you're looking for this to move its way back up to $7 in the future. So right now would be around the best areas for a bounce play, for the stock to stay in the channel, and for this to move on up. After that, what else do we have? CLWT. Right away, we can already see CLWT as well inside a channel, where we're in from 870 up towards around 1025. And this stock is looking to get above 1025 and get that nice big breakout. And this is all the same exact reasonings. Why is CLWT running? There is no news on CLWT. There is no news on PLAG. The news is that we're working towards a deal with China. That's the news today. So that's why these low float Chinese plays, as you can see, CLWT 913,000 in float. That's why these plays right here are getting a lot of good activity. That's why they're getting a lot of good volume. Number 1 and number 2, very low float plays. We also see JMU, number 3, low float play, and that's again a Chinese play. So same exact reasoning. What happened right here on CLWT? This went more for, again, another little like double U shape right here. But where did a lot of the hype come on through? At the break of the VWAP. Guys, if you guys have been in chat for the last like 2 weeks now, haven't you guys been seeing a lot of the breaks of the VWAPs, right? The VWAP breaks, and this goes on a nice big rip and run. I think the one that I did was TROV. This big, it had a big spike where it went from $9 all the way up towards $9.68, and I was able to make some good money on that. It did come down later on, but TRV had some nice rips and runs. There's also a couple other ones as well, and that was all from what? The break of the VWAP. So, we have these stocks that gap up huge. Sellers take over. They dump them off. And then what happens? Break of the VWAP, the stock all of a sudden goes crazy and starts ripping its way back on up. The problem with CLWT is how many holds this thing got. Notice, again, all the little gap spaces is that the stock keeps getting halted every time it spikes. Now, I personally enjoy, 1 hold, maybe 2 holds. I enjoy that, right? 1 hold, 2 holds, that's good. But once we start seeing 4, 5 holds, people start getting a little annoyed at that, right? People are like, oh, we're halted again. Oh, I don't know where this is going to be going. We're halted again here. We're halted again here. So we definitely, want to be careful, of course, how we're going to be trading these plays. But, CLWT broke the VWAP. What did it do? Run up towards around 744. Notice it got it halted right here. Then what happened? Gapped up to 754. spiked on up, got halted at 8:30, gapped on up to 8:75, ran on up, got halted at 10:03, unhalted at 10:27, spiked, dumped, got halted at 9:20, got unhalted at $8, spiked all the way back on up, and it hasn't had as much volume since. Because after you start, halting, that's when what happens. That's when people start getting a little bit annoyed with it, and you start seeing volume, start leaving these plays. So, PLAG, I wanted to go over, of course, why these stocks were getting this rip. A lot of predictability on many different patterns that were set up. CLWT, also, again, if you're interested, again, JMU, it's the same exact thing. Why is JMU running? Guys, again, all it is that this play is talking about U.S.-China talks, right? We have progress in all areas. People are just running over there. So our penny stock world is, what's going on with, our country right now. Sometimes we have press releases that are just to deal with, with that company. A little side note, as you guys know as well, we do have our Speed Trader webinar tonight, where the CEO of Speed Trader at 7 p.m. Eastern time tonight is going to be logging on and going to be going over some free deals and some free offers for you guys. So that's absolutely great, and I definitely want you guys to sign up for that. So make sure you guys are here for that. It's not on Tradecaster. I've been posting the link, and I'll post the link right now for you guys in chat, so you guys have that, of course. I know most of you guys have registered already. Just want to make sure anyone who's not 100% aware. And there is that webinar link, so you guys are all good. All right, but yeah, just want to go over CLWT, PLAG, a little bit of JMU, low float stock, progress with China. Everyone, again, just goes over and says, hey, what's the lowest float Chinese plays we can find? And then what happens? They start going on these rips and runs. A lot of different patterns within these charts, and that's why I always say you don't want to just learn one pattern. PLAG has had multiple bounces off old support, turns into new resistance, or old resistance turns into new support. Many times, guys, we're basically high of the day, breaks it, turns into support. Breaks high of the day, then what happens? Turns into new support. Like PLAG right here, still right now, getting some selling, not holding the $6 channel currently. And what's happening? The old high of the day was where? All the way back down towards around 575. That is going to hit. Let's see if this area can hold up as its new support line at 575, because that's the old high of the day back at 9:45 this morning. So to wrap everything up, was definitely a solid day. I'm definitely excited to be able to see, a lot of people profit. It's been, a very fun one. It's definitely been more on the exciting side today to finally get those nice big rips, those nice big runs. Shout out to you guys making money. Just again, a little bit of a screenshot I just took a couple seconds ago. What do we got? PLAG, $418 profit, 665, 275, 30, 220, 222, 202, 65, 556, 940, 118, 171. So you guys are killing it. You guys are all good. You guys know exactly what you guys are doing. An awesome job. Awesome job. I'll take my $70, grow my account very slightly, and get ready for my next trade coming on up. So awesome work, and very excited about carrying out with the small account challenge.